she sort of saw something in me and started developing me, which was
Wow, she was like a mentor to you.
cool. Yes, yeah.
I never got a
I
mentor.
was kind of going there just to make friends, like, just to, like, hang out and do
Yeah.
something fun, and I ended up finding myself on stage within weeks of that.
It's a good day for a good day. Sending big love in a big way. Yeah.
Stand-up comic, world peace seeker, fun girl of the world, all around general great girl, Shannon Klein is on the pod, everybody. Say hello.
Oh, happy to be here.
What's going on? It's good to have you here.
Oh my gosh, it's so great to catch up and to be on your podcast. This is
Yes.
super exciting. I'm even skipping a bunch of beach time right now in Hawaii.
Oh, you're in Hawaii. So I thought you were
I'm in
back
Hawaii.
in Vegas. I can't keep track of you.
I don't keep track of myself. I don't know.
Now, I know you were just in Israel. We're going to talk about that in a second because that's crazy and mind-blowing that you were there at this time,
It was impeccable timing.
and an impeccable timing on that. But we're going to start with something a little less heavy, and we're going to talk about your stand-up.
We'll work our way up to it.
We'll work out. Yeah, we'll get deeper as it goes on in the throughout the pod. But yeah, you're a stand-up. You're a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
You've been doing it for how long now?
It's been like 2 years now
2 years. Wait a minute now.
doing stand-up.
You've only been doing it for 2 years.
Only 2 years, yeah, but I was doing improv before, so I was on the stage and, acting, commercials, comedy in that sense.
Yes, I remember all that.
Stand-up, that was like a pandemic move.
Oh, it was. Wow. I feel like you've been doing stand-up long before that because, I know why. Because I would see you during the pandemic, all your clips you were doing of stand-up. I'm like, I didn't know Shannon's been doing stand-up for this long. She's great.
Oh, no, I just started putting my stuff out there immediately.
Oh
I
my
didn't
God,
work
I
on
am
my
so
material or
jealous.
refine it or anything. I just put it out.
Oh my, I'm so jealous because you were so good so fast.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh my God, good for you. Yeah, you were all over the place, perform. Was it because people were afraid to perform? Or you're like, I'm going to perform at this club. I don't care. Like, how were you getting
Well, it was
those gigs?
Texas, so nobody was afraid of anything there. COVID didn't
That's
exist, which was
true.
awesome.
That's
Kind of
true.
why I went.
That's true. I love Texas. But I was just in Austin, San Antonio, and I'm like, you know what? Texas does a lot. There may be some crazy things associated with Texas. A lot of people say, but you know what? I actually was enjoying Texas. I really.
It was so fun.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What was your inspiration besides it was just completely like pandemic? I'm not acting right now. I'm not doing
It
commercials.
was literally that. So I moved to Texas just to kind of like escape all of the lockdowns and craziness of LA. And then I found myself getting really, really bored because I was in Dallas, and that's a city that's very finance heavy and tech. And there was really no creative outlet for me there. And then I got connected to this comedy club that was about to open, and it's a husband and a wife that opened it, the Caruths. They're amazing. They're from New York, and
What are their names?
Ian and Rosie Caruth.
Carew. Okay.
Caruth. Yeah,
Caruth.
so I connected with Rosie, the wife, and she and her husband had come from UCB in New York.
Ah.
Did UCB in LA, so we kind of had that connection point, and then she sort of saw something in me and started developing me, which was
Wow. She was like a mentor to you.
Yes, yeah.
I never got a mentor.
I was kind of going there just to make friends, like, just to, like, hang out and do something fun, and I ended up finding myself on stage within weeks of that.
Doing stand-up.
Doing stand-up, which was never part of the plan, ever.
I'll say this, because you came from the improv world. And by the way, the UCB people, which were originally Amy Poehler, Adam McKay, Matt Besser, I
One more.
Peel. Oh, wait, I got it. Matt, who's on Veep. He's great. Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
And even there was another guy, Ali Faranakian, way back in the day, was on there also at one point. Anyway, I know all this because I was in Chicago when UCB formed. I performed with those guys on the Improv Olympic stages as they were forming UCB. So
Wow, that's so cool.
Yes. So, but it's great though. So here you are, somebody sees you, the person who's running the club takes you under her wing and kind of mentors you to do stand-up. And within weeks, you're on the stage. But I think having an improv background, you're comfortable on stage. more than other people.
Sort of, because if you're doing improv, you just make it up as you go. There's
I'm not familiar with
separate pressure that comes with stand-up because like if it's not funny, like you wrote that. You spent hours and weeks and years working on that material. So if it bombs, it's like it's more of a blow to your ego rather than, if you bomb in improv, it's like that's funny. That's the
exactly. It's funny, like, oh well, I had a bad night, big deal,
But that's like what's great. Like when you mess up in improv, it's like the audience sees it, like breaks that fourth wall, and you're like, oh, okay. Like
if you're having fun, I remember when I performed with Chris Farley way back in the day, and he'd come as a guest. He had just got on Saturday Night Live a little before that, so he'd come as a guest and he'd perform with us, and he would completely mess up, and he'd be like, I'm so sorry, I totally messed that whole scene. Like, and the audience just like laughing and loving it, and because he's still comfortable, even if he's messing up, the audience is still seeing him as like, he's human, he's normal, he's having fun. We don't care that he messed up.
He's also genius. He is so wow. R.I.P. He is hilarious.
He was great, and he has two brothers that I know, John and Kevin, who are also they were improvisers. They were also geniuses. It just runs in the family. And there's another brother also, whose name I'm forgetting. I believe one more brother, but maybe not. But Kevin looks a lot like Chris. For like it's almost uncanny. But they're very talented family. Very talented family. But who were your inspirations as far as stand-up goes?
Oh, I knew nothing about it at all.
Really? You're not like, oh, Eddie Murphy was my
it's so funny. People would ask me, they're like, who are your favorite comics? I'm like, me?
So far, I'm my favorite, I guess.
I don't know.
Really?
But pretty quickly, once I got started, I started connecting with a bunch of comics, and I learned so quickly, and I was, now on stage with some of the best, and it happened really, really fast. So now I can appreciate comedy. But
give me a couple tips that they helped you, that put you over like the hump.
I guess just really to have fun with it. That's the main thing, and to keep working on it. Just keep doing it and
bringing it down. Boom, 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 boom. So it's as tight as possible. The least amount of words. Each word, it gets you to
like how many laughs per minute. You want to count those, which was really, really great advice. I was told by this awesome comedian. He was like, okay, watch this clip and count how many times they're laughing per minute. And it was like between 6 and 10 times every minute.
Wow. Wait a minute, that's crazy.
And then also, if you're going to do a deep cut, which I love, you have to follow it up with something that everybody can enjoy, so everybody can laugh at. Because when I started, it was like deep cut after deep cut after deep cut, and people who got it thought it was hilarious, but not everyone always gets everything. So you just want to make something that's like universally funny to.
Oh, okay. Because speaking of deep cut, I was confused for a second by what do you mean by deep cut? You mean like a
like something that's very, very niche.
Okay, very niche kind of joke. I got you. What's your angle in general in comedy? What kind of comic are you? If someone says, "What is your thing? What are you known for?" What would you say is your thing?
Oh my gosh, I think
like Seinfeld is, he's about the minutia of the day. Bill Burr is usually angry about something or another. I mean, like people have like,
I think I'm like relatable, millennial, clean comedy.
Clean comedy. You can work so much more.
Been clean from the whole squeaky clean.
Really? That's so good. It's so good. It's so hard to be funny without being, dropping an F-bomb, you know what I'm saying, here and there. But, if you can work clean, you can work a lot more than other people because it's more sought after than, the blue comic, if you will.
Thank you. Yeah. And it's just my natural personality anyway. It's just...
You're always smiling. You're ebullient. You're effervescent. Your other words, I don't even know what I'm saying, but they sound like that what you are.
They sound like fancy words. I like
it. They do sound like, like, I'll take that 5-cent word. But but you always have been that way. As long as I've known you, always had a positive disposition about yourself. You're a happy person. You know what I'm saying? I always see you optimistic. I never see you sad. We would hike, and you're just always a fun person. You were like my hiking partner. I missed that, by the way. Got to move back at some point so we can hike again.
Right.
Speaking of crazy, You took a trip to Israel and then a war broke out?
That wasn't part of the plan. It just
Wasn't part of the
happened
plan.
that way.
Okay. Oh,
Kind of
okay.
like comedy.
Yes. So you decide you and your boyfriend went there?
Yeah, and we went there for a wedding, and there were about 40 of us on this trip. So the bride, what she does is she leads messianic tours of Israel for churches all around the world.
Okay.
And she was leading a private tour for her family and her closest friends before the wedding. So we got to see a bunch of really awesome places. But on the second morning, we woke up to the news.
And the second morning.
The second morning. So we flew in late at night, go to bed. We have one really great day. And then the next morning, it's like, war starting. Cool. We're here.
Oh my God.
Immediately, all of the flights started getting canceled. And we were in the northern part of Israel at this point. We were on the Sea of Galilee.
Okay.
And we were kind of close to the Syria and Jordan borders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we knew like Tel Aviv was targeted in the beginning, but we also knew that there's potential to be from the north. And where we were staying was this really great resort that felt very safe and it was very secluded. So it felt like it was away from everything.
Was it a bomb shelter? Why'd you feel safe there?
Well, it was just kind of not really in a hot spot, like a target zone, because there weren't a lot of people out there. It's like this beautiful lake. So I can't imagine.
Why? Nothing would ever happen by a beautiful lake. You're right.
Not right. Yeah, water safe. Well, it was just kind of secluded. It's not a major city. But the problem with that is if you're secluded out there, then you're stuck there.
Yes.
So we had to make the call and whether to stay out there and like ride it out and potentially escape through Jordan.
Okay.
That's a little sketchy because first off, you need a visa to get into Jordan, and there's only certain border points. And at this point, we knew nothing. We didn't know if Jordan was going to join in. We didn't know the area. We don't speak Hebrew or Arabic. So we're just kind of.
You don't. Well, you speak Japanese. So
yeah, which is not helpful.
Not helpful there. Okay.
At all. Did not come in handy.
And you needed a visa.
Yeah. So
to go there. They won't take Amex or MasterCard. So you're really screwed.
Yeah.
Like going to Costco.
An American Express and it doesn't work everywhere.
No.
Certainly not in Jordan.
Sad. How'd you get out?
Make the call to stay with the rest of the group who was heading towards Jerusalem. And we're like, okay, well, Jerusalem's a holy city for everyone. It should be safe. They shouldn't attack it, right?
You think?
Yeah, that's what we thought. It ended up getting attacked.
Yeah.
About as soon as we got there.
Oh my, wow.
So we got into Jerusalem. What's that?
So trouble follows you.
It was, yeah. You were just fleeing at the right moments, which was like kind of cool.
You're like one step ahead of them. You guys were like ninjas. You're like, James Bond. You're one step ahead of the enemy.
Yeah. But they were following us.
They were following you, but they couldn't get you. You're always like, almost got me.
So we're in Jerusalem, and actually this was terrifying. This was when it like really set in. Like we knew that it was a very serious situation and that it was escalating, and we just wanted to make the right call. Like, when do you get out? How do you get out? Is it safe to go to the airport? Is it safer to stay in this city? When do you go? All the flights were canceled for the next 4 days. It took us 4 days eventually to get a flight out. But we decided, okay, like we're in Jerusalem. The tour was proceeding. They were going to see the Western Wall, which is a very, very holy spot. And it's very protected by all the IDF. So we decided to join them. We go. And as soon as we walk in, we go through all of the security and like metal detectors. I mean, there's IDF surrounding it. We're like, okay, this feels safe. But I had never been there. So I didn't know, like I didn't have my bearings in the place. I didn't know the layout of it. But we walk in and there's this sharp corner where the wall is behind it and you can't see that at all.
Yeah.
We got through, all we could see is from around this corner, a crowd of people running and screaming. and we hear noises, we hear running and screaming. We're like,
Oh my God.
we just walked into a trap.
Yeah.
And it's a gunman, like, on the loose, like, what, like, and all I could think about in that moment was, this is how it happens. Like, I've always seen, like, photos and videos and hear and read about festivals where people,
Sure.
get attacked by a gunman, and it's a crowd of people running, and then they all get hit.
Oh.
But also, you just, in that moment, you don't know where to run, or
Exactly.
if you should duck, if you should turn around, like, you don't know.
Shelter in place. What do you do at that point?
Yeah, the only thing we knew was, to just trust the crowd that they were running the right direction.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, okay. I guess that
Because we had to make a split decision in that moment, and like I said, we couldn't see around the corner, so we didn't know what was on the other side.
Oh,
So immediately, just instincts kicked in, start running. We run into this shelter, and we're hiding out there, and then, like, this full panic just came over me, and, I had never been that terrified in my entire
yeah.
life.
Yeah. Well, it's a life or death situation. You think you could be dying any
Yeah.
second. I had a,
Totally, totally. Um, so we're in the shelter, for several minutes, and then we find out there was no gunman, but there was a rocket that landed very close to us.
oh, phew, only a rocket. Oh, much. Only a rocket with a bomb on it. Not a big deal. It's not like a gunman with a little bullet.
And at that point, I was like, I don't want to be outside. I don't want to be anywhere. I just want to be home. And it hit
Yes.
me in that moment that, we could possibly never get home.
Wow.
Either we're going to be stuck there for a very long time, or going to be stuck there forever.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yes, I know what you meant by that. Dead.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I picked it up. I saw what you were, dropping down. I picked it up.
So then, right after that, I was like, okay, like, we need to get back to the hotel. Like, there's a bomb shelter in the hotel. Like, just stay there, right? So my boyfriend and I, we go there, and we just went to get some food. It's hours later, like, we're finally starting to calm down, and we decided to get some food, and we're enjoying our dinner, and the waiter comes up and he's like, "The sirens are going off. Proceed, make your way to the bomb shelter." And we're like, again? Like,
Wow.
so we run down, they escort us, they show us the way, we're, like, running down, like, flights of stairs, and we're in this complete underground, like, bunker, hiding, not knowing what's going on. We're there for even longer this time, until they say it's, like, safe to go out, but it doesn't feel safe to go
Yeah,
out,
no, I
'cause
don't think it would.
I mean, you hear explosions all day long, all night long. We were hearing them, so, but you don't know where they are, or, like, they're just firing off
Yeah.
randomly.
Wow.
And, we came back to our table, we were looking it up, and we were like, "Oh, that siren was from a rocket that landed maybe blocks away from us."
Wow.
And there were also rockets that were landing from where we were to the airport. So it wasn't safe to go out, even if we
No.
could get a flight. We met someone at the hotel who had bought 22 flights, just in hopes that one of them would leave.
Wow. Wow.
Everyone was trying to escape.
And when did you finally get out?
It was after this, it was 3 days later, so it started
What
on
days before you
Saturday.
finally got out? You got out on Wednesday or
Days
Sunday?
when we ended up in the bomb shelter 3 times, and, so then we still had all day, the rest of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then we left that night. We found an airline that was doing evacuation trips from Tel Aviv to Cypress.
Wow. Oh,
So we were
okay.
so lucky to be able to get on that, and then
Yes.
from
Wow.
Cypress, we were like, "Where can we go that's as far away as possible?" That's,
Wow.
like,
You never were so happy to go to Cyprus in your life.
well, Cypress was still a little sketchy because it
It's
was
still a little sketchy,
right,
yeah.
it's right there,
Yeah, it's
and
true.
everybody was evacuating to Cypress, so that could potentially be
Oh,
a
yeah, it could have been
target
a
as
spot.
well. Mhm.
And then you
And we
got a
just
flight.
didn't know. We knew
You
nothing. We were just trying to make the best decisions that we could in
Right.
every.
And then how do you get a flight to Hawaii from there?
Okay, so from Cyprus, we're like, where can we go that's safe and far, far away? And we found a really great flight that was almost directly to Tokyo,
Okay.
with just a stop in Dubai, but it was like a quick stop, and then we land in Tokyo, and Tokyo's the
Yeah.
best city in the world. It's
Oh, yeah.
incredible. And then
Right.
from Tokyo, after being there for like 5 days, well, Hawaii is on the way home. So
Wow.
now we're
That's
here.
crazy. That's a crazy
Yeah.
story that you lived. Now, let me ask you one more question about something. I have to read this thing. I am doing comedy shows in pursuit of my goal of world peace. Now, you did that for a magazine,
Yes.
right? What was that? That was Elixir by Roy.
Yeah, Elixir magazine.
Now, you did that before you wound up in Israel, am I correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But isn't that crazy that you do a thing about world peace and next thing you know, it really rings true?
It's so true. And I mean, what's crazy is in the article I write about how true peace really only comes from God, and that's the only answer to world peace. And it's so true from being in the middle of a war zone. The only peace that we had that got us out and got us through it was the peace of God.
Yeah. There you
So
go.
it's like I lived my writing
You
in
lived your
that
writing.
moment.
Your art became life instead of life becoming art. Shannon Klein, everybody, on the pod. Thank you very much, Shannon.
Sending big love